pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. When I was in graduate school in Washington, D.C., I once had the surreal experience of pushing a shopping cart through the aisles of Trader Joe's, that most ironic and yuppie of all grocery stores. When I first heard the gravelly voice of Johnny Cash sing, "You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later, God will cut you down." Now, this is an amazing song, and if any of you don't know it, I highly commend it. But the circumstances upon first hearing it is what made the juxtaposition surreal and disorienting. Here, amidst the Hawaiian shirt-wearing clerks and the free samples of fair trade snacks, Johnny Cash was seriously intoning that what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. The specter of final judgment in this place seemed so shocking that I truly marveled that either a mistake had somehow been made or that the corporate powers that be had somehow not realized that this song would surely offend someone or upset someone with such an unambiguous message of condemnation confronting the modern world. This experience came to mind this week as I reflected on our readings today regarding what the scriptures say about judgment and how modern Americans, including some who have left the church, hear this message. Our lectionary passages this morning revolve around the fear of condemnation and the assurance of salvation. But I wonder what first comes to the forefront of your mind when these texts confront you. Is your first reaction to tremble with fear or quiver with doubt at the mention of condemnation and judgment? Or do you perhaps go to the opposite extreme and haughtily triumph in the idea of your salvation and revel at the prospect that you will be among a limited number who will be saved? While the ancient world in which these texts are based could assume some common understandings of judgment and salvation, perhaps you are struck with the thoroughly modern indifference or rejection of these ideas. I think this brief moment from Luke's Gospel in chapter 13 provides a wonderful opportunity for assessment of our hearts as we consider differing emphases that can arise from the text, as well as how this message is heard in the modern world. It was not out of line for someone from the crowd surrounding Jesus in Luke's narrative to ask, "Lord, will those who will be saved be few?" You can understand this question and Jesus' answer in line with the common role of an Old Testament prophet ministering to God's people. Remember Isaiah's indictment of the people and rulers of Jerusalem for our reading of chapter 28, where he summarizes what their actions say about their beliefs. He says of them, "We have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol we have an agreement. When the overwhelming whip passes through, it will not come to us, for we have made lies our refuge, and in falsehood have we taken shelter." The prophetic word of the Lord in response to this trust in a refuge of lies and a shelter of falsehoods is the coming consummation of justice, which will utterly overwhelm the plans of the deceitful. Isaiah proclaims as the word of the Lord, "I will make justice the line and righteousness the plumb line, and hail will sweep away the refuge of lies, and waters will overwhelm the shelter. Then your covenant with death will be annulled, and your agreement with Sheol will not stand. When the overwhelming scourge passes through, you will be beaten down by it." The warning in this passage is similar to Jesus' answer